But the point is, it all has to do with identity. Each of these things occurs. Now, each of these things occurs because there's identity being established or proclaimed. Now, in our culture, we don't have hardly any rituals, do we, anymore, of fathers and sons identifying with one another. We've lost that, and we've lost something in our culture. And I think you'll see why that is so. Fathers also establish identity intentionally. In other words, we actually intend to do it. And that's what I hope will happen as a result of this series, that you will see the importance of your role and become intentional about establishing identity in your family. But also, fathers establish identity unintentionally, and that's by what they do not do. And that's probably impacted most of us. We are who we are not because of what our fathers did to us, but what they did not do. And you'll see the impact of that. Now here's an identity truth that goes with this first principle, and that's this. If you want to really get to know a man, get to know a man as a son of his father, and you'll understand the man. It's the same with your wives. Getting to know them as daughters of their fathers will help you understand who they are, because that established an identity pattern or course for their lives. So getting to know a man as a son of his father. If you want to get to know Jesus Christ, how do you get to know him? You get to know him as a son of his father. There's no other way to know Jesus than that. So that's the first principle. Fathers establish identity. Now here's the second principle. Identity has to do with power. When I ask the question, who are you? Or you ask yourself this question about your children, who is my son? You could answer that question in another way, by another question, and that is, who is your power source? What is your power source? To whom do you look when you cope with life? Or you might ask another question that might answer that, and it would be this. To whom or to what do you look for your happiness? That's a matter of identity. We might ask it this way. To whom are you connected? Or we might ask, who do you imitate? Who have you given the power to shape your life through all the years of your life? There's another way to ask this question, and that is really this. Who is your God? Who or what is your God? Because whoever your God is, that's your power source. Whoever your power source is, that's your God. That's who you're identified with. That's the way we function practically. And this gives us tremendous insight and understanding when it comes to understanding people and understanding who they are. Understanding yourself, who you are. So this second principle has to do with power. Who is your power source? To whom do you look for happiness? Who are you connected to, or who do you belong to? Who is your God? That's the second principle. This actually leads us to a principle that's tied to this truth of identity has to do with power.